What's up? Daily Dash Cam report. It's about, what is it, Thursday? TGI tomorrow F. And we're on Gratiot near 10. And we're going to be heading eastbound on 10. Or whatever it is. Is it east? I don't know. South? It's east or south? I don't know. Gratiot south right now. Gonna get the defogger blasting. Blasting! I'll pause for you. See what this guy's got off the line. Ooh, I beat him. I beat him for a foot. Man, the fumes get in here, bro. I gotta get this exhaust fixed. Fumes be getting in here. If I'm not moving, fumes are coming. My tailpipe's severed at the very end, so all that fumes comes up the bumper and in the hatch. How cool. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be on tonight. We got a little Thursday night football maybe on Prime, and we'll do some video gaming. I don't know. We got some amaretto mints to crush into. And there's something else, I forget the name of, but it's pretty good. Oh, I think it's Chem Wreck. That's what it is. Chem Dog and Train Wreck. It's actually pretty good. No, I'm not saying.
And you're listening to all things.
I wonder if this little arm contraption that I have my phone hanging on makes it bouncier or less bouncy. Because it kind of flexes with the bounces, but I don't know if it's bouncing or if it's actually absorbing. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. I'm gonna pause at the light. I'm gonna pause at the light for you guys. You know. I think it's 40 in through here. The Family Dollar on the right. We got Marathon on the left. And coming up to Kelly at the light. And after that, it'll be 94. We'll hop on that bad boy west. And make some time. It's about 5:59 with 24.6 miles per gallon and 43 degrees Fahrenheit. What other kind of information? A Taurus. Yeah. I don't know if that's information or fake news, but you know, provided here on the channel. What else? Pause for the light here. Oh, it's actually going to turn green right here when we pull off. So we won't do no pausing. Should be turning green here. Do a little pausing.
Are threatening to do in Beirut what the military has done in Gaza.
Today is Thursday,
Fumes,
December
man.
28th.
I forgot to turn my recycler on.
Considered from NPR News.
I was right about the 40 mile per hour, and here in about 30 seconds we'll be hopping on the freeway. We'll let you listen to the news.
Her original answer did not include slavery.
I mean, I think the cause of the Civil War was basically how government was going to run. The freedoms and what people could and couldn't do. Later, we'll meet a Colombian cyclist who has become famous for more than just athleticism.
Rigo is that person that you feel like you are his friend or his family.
And it's been a year of transformation in media, from strikes to cutbacks in streaming. So what are we likely to see in the year ahead?
First, the news.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Windsor Johnston. The October 7th attack on southern Israel by the militant group Hamas has delayed the Israeli government's attempt to overhaul its judiciary. The proposed reforms had outraged many Israeli citizens who argued the move was an attempt to break the nation's democracy.
45.
Strike length of reports, there are increasing concerns that the Fed could be turned.
Judicial reform, dry-sounding package of legislation, convulsed the country earlier this year, bringing hundreds of thousands of protesters into the streets. One of the architects of the legislation insists he is dead, and with the country war.
Yeah, that guy's going off the road. What an idiot.
The critics say the government is working on at least several dozen other bills to undermine the democratic system, and they won't exhale until there are new elections. In the meantime, the Supreme Court is preparing to weigh in on a law that would limit its ability to rule on government decisions, which critics call another crucial attempt to undermine the balance of power in Israel's democracy. Frank Langford, NPR News, Jerusalem.
The caravan of migrants continues to make its way toward the United States amid U.S. efforts to stem the unprecedented influx of migrants arriving at the southern border. Democratic Congressman Vicente Gonzalez represents a district in Texas that's close to the border.
We need to raise the credible fear standard of the border. We need to have expedited hearings, and we need to have expedited removals, and we need to enforce American immigration laws in a humane way. We're not going to rip children out of mothers' arms, separate families, like what happened under the Trump administration. But we do need to enforce American immigration laws at the border.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken and other top Biden administration officials
Anthony
held
Abe
talks in
Lincoln.
Mexico City on Wednesday to discuss
Anthony Abe Lincoln. That's his name.
moving forward.
Anthony
The U.S.
Lincoln.
Federal Trade Commission
or
has
Anthony
filed
Abe
a
Lincoln.
lawsuit against Grand Canyon University. NPR's Janet Ujamli reports it's one of the latest cases on the deceptive branding of colleges.
The FTC announced Wednesday that it's filed a complaint against Grand Canyon University. That's for misrepresenting the school as a nonprofit for deceptive advertising and illegal telemarketing. The complaint also accuses the school for providing misinformation on the cost and course requirement of its doctoral programs. According to the Ed Department, less than 2% of the program's graduates have finished their degree within the advertised cost, and just under 80% of students have to take 5 or more courses than planned. Janet Ujamli, NPR News.
Stocks traded nice today on Wall Street. At the close, the Dow was up 53 points. The Nasdaq fell 4. This is NPR News in Washington.
With Michigan Radio News, I'm Catherine Christie. Michigan lawmakers will gradually meet nursing staff crisis when the legislative session resumes in the new year. Michigan Radio's Kate Wells has more. Nurses say staffing levels are dangerously low, and younger nurses are now the most likely to say that they plan on leaving. Republican State Representative John Roth of Interlochen is co-sponsoring a bill to limit mandatory overtime for nurses. He says he was talking with recent nurses who asked.
I asked how long do you plan on working in this field as a nurse? And the longest was 8 years. That was a very big concern for me. Are we going to be changing nurses every decade?
Well, Democrats have introduced legislation to limit how many patients a nurse can be forced to care for at a time. I'm Kate Wells. People with Medicaid insurance will have access to a new benefit as of January 1st. Community health workers help patients struggling with unmet social needs related to their health care. Megan Rowan is the state's Medicaid director. She says community health workers work hand in hand with doctors and other providers.
If the individual struggling with transportation, are they struggling with access to healthy food? How do I get to my appointment? What do I really need to be doing to stay healthy? How do I get that education? Those 3-day assessment tools.
The state will also help people get credentialed to be community health workers. The Voting Rights Act expert working with Michigan's Redistricting Commission is resigning. The commission sought advice from Bruce Adelson when crafting new maps for the state's House and Senate districts. His role was to ensure that the commission's work could withstand legal challenges. But a panel of federal judges recently found the maps were unconstitutional. The ruling says no elections can be held in the affected districts until the maps are redrawn. Adelson is a former senior trial attorney for the U.S.
Man, this heat feels good after working in a 50-degree house all day.
Showers may continue.
Hoodie hood up, hoodie hood on. Trying to stay warm, keeping on scraping.
And nighttime lows dipping below freezing. On Saturday, the sun should come out. We'll have highs in the low 40s. This is Michigan Radio News.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include the Langlock Foundation,
yeah.
Justice, equity, and opportunity for all people to foster and sustain safe and healthy communities. Learn more at langlock.org. And the listeners who support this NPR station.
NPR News.
is All Things Considered. I'm Juana Summers.
And I'm Ari Shapiro. Israeli leaders are warning that there could now be a war to its north in Lebanon. There have been near daily rocket attacks from Lebanese militias, with Israeli attacks in return. This comes as Israel's offensive continues in Gaza, nearly 3 months after Hamas attacked Israel on October 7th. NPR's Jason DeRose is following these developments from Tel Aviv. Hi, Jason.
Hello.
What is the concern on the Israel-Lebanon border? What's happening there right now?
Well, the head of the Israeli military says troops were, quote, in very high readiness for expanded fighting to the north. Member of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's war cabinet that yesterday the military could move to push militants away from the border if diplomacy and pressure don't work. And that time is running out. Ari, the last couple of days have seen a significant increase in the rocket attacks from Hezbollah. That's the Lebanese militia that has a lot of heavy weapons compared to Hamas. Those rockets result in these air raid sirens going off, activating the defense system called Iron Dome to shoot them down. And this has been going on for weeks. Tens of thousands have been evacuated on both sides of the border. Also, Hamas is still firing rockets into Israel from the south. And all of that is keeping many people here on your constant edge.
I want to turn to an airstrike at the Maghazi refugee camp in Gaza that happened over the weekend. Israel addressed that strike today. Tell us what they've said.
Well, that's one of the deadliest single instances since Israel began these strikes. The Associated Press had a reporter near there who saw the hospital records showing 106 killed. The Israeli military says that on December 24th, fighter jets attacked 2 nearby targets where a number of Hamas operatives were believed to be located. It says before the attack, it took steps to reduce the harm to those not involved. Military today says
20 over also.
That a preliminary investigation shows that during the operation, additional buildings adjacent to the targets were damaged. And it says the investigation continues into how this happened, that it regrets the harm caused to civilians, and that it's working to draw lessons from the incident. As a reminder, Ari, Gaza health officials say the death toll there has surpassed 21,000 people now. That's mostly women and children.
All right, let's pivot now from Gaza to the West Bank, where Israel arrested people, it says, to stop them from sending money to Hamas. What more can you tell us about that?
Well, Israel's defense minister, Yoav Gallant, says 5 money-changing companies in the Israeli-occupied West Bank have been named as terrorist organizations. He says the offices transferred money to Hamas and the group Palestinian Islamic Jihad. After the defense minister signed the order declaring them terrorist organizations, Israeli forces raided 9 currency exchange branches in the West Bank, according to Gallant. He says authorities confiscated equivalent of nearly $2.8 million. Gallant says security forces
They haven't been
also
first at
arrested
this light in quite some time.
of transferring
This light's
funds to
pointless
Hamas
all the
and
time.
Palestinian Islamic Jihad.
And what do the money exchanges say
Slide through
to those
regardless of
allegations?
color.
Well, some have denied they have anything
Nobody
to
going
do
the
with
other
Hamas.
way.
Here's
So this is a
Mahmoud
very,
Ajli,
very pointless
the
light.
nephew of the owner of one of the money exchanges who was arrested in the city of Al-Baria in the West Bank.
No jinxes that time, baby.
Ajli says he knows that his uncle,
Like 25 over,
was arrested, but that's the only thing he knows. Now, the Palestinian Authority's Monetary Commission issued a statement saying that raiding the money changers is illegal. That
all
those
right,
shops
over
are
and out.
under the
13 minutes,
jurisdiction of
47
the
second
Israeli
commute. Let's do it.